Hey there, how you doing? This is a message for Brian, Nico, Dustin and Mike. So I'm Paul Popplewell, and I was in 15 Million Mirrors, Black Mirror. Brian, Nico, Dustin, Mike, it's Paul again. Listen, I just want to apologise. The sound quality on that video I did you was terrible. I was out hiking. I'm now in my little camper van thing. We shot 15 Million Merits a million years ago, but it was great fun. It was great to be a part of it, and it's been amazing to watch it kind of go stratospheric, and Netflix pick it up, and you know, all these Hollywood stars are directing and starring in it now. Not that the British cast were amazing, you know, absolute stellar, the creme de la creme of some of the top British artists, and me. But it was good fun. Good luck with the podcast, and keep up the good work, and don't go out there.
They've conquered the big screen. Now, get ready for the spin-off sure to send chills down your spine. It's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin in Don't Go Out There, the series.
Welcome back, everybody, to DGOT, the series. We really appreciate y'all listening. We hope y'all have been enjoying these series reviews. I know we have. It's been a lot of fun. Just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, you know, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network, so there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. As we continue on with 2 more episodes of Black Mirror this evening, Dustin, you're going to be doing the scene by scene. Do you want to give us your general thoughts on the first episode?
Yeah, I didn't love the first episode we're doing today. I think it's a really interesting concept. It just wasn't my favorite execution of it. Second episode, I had a lot of fun with it. It started out shaky. I was like, man, what the fuck is it? I just didn't really, in the first scene, I thought the world that we're introduced to was how the whole episode was. And I was like, what is this? But then I really liked that concept and execution. So kind of a mixed bag here, but overall, I didn't hate either one of them.
To absolutely nobody's surprise, I love the first episode, and the second episode was a struggle for this guy. Just note taking, getting into it. I was fighting for my fucking life in that second episode. I'm not gonna lie, but if it makes Brian feel any better, the first episode we're doing is called White Bear. I was captivated the whole episode. It's right up there with the Josh Hartnett, Aaron Paul episode. It's top 2 favorites that I've seen, even the ones we haven't reviewed. I love this episode. I thought it was like watching a damn Saw movie. I kept getting my mind blown over and over and caught off guard. I didn't expect where they were going, like with each turn. And I loved that episode. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Pretty dramatic difference in 2 episodes. I think both are highly rated pretty much all the way around. I think the performance from Lenora Krishlow in White Bear is what sold me on that episode so much. And you'd think USS Callister would be more of a niche thing, being that it's Star Trek centric, and I might be wrong, and Nico probably disagrees with that, but I think a lot of people who would normally be turned off by, let's say, the episode description, I think are pleasantly surprised by USS Callister when they finally watch it. I like both of these pretty equally personally, both highly rated on my end. So I like we have you guys like the opposite episodes, and I like them both. So hey, it works out well.
All right, we're in this together. You guys have any other opening thoughts before I get into this hellhole that is doing the SEMO thing?
Who would have ever guessed me and Dustin disagree on something?
I know, unless it's 824. This is pretty common actually. But all right, let's get into it. Season 2, episode 2, White Bear. The episode opens with a weird glitchy montage and a woman waking up all discombobulated and her wrists are bandaged. There's a logo glitching on a screen in the room that looks like an upside-down football goalpost, and there's pills scattered on the floor at her feet. As she tries to get her bearings, she drinks a glass of water, and we see a calendar on the wall. It's October 18th. She sees a picture of a little girl, and then we see what appears to be her memory glitching. She walks outside, and she notices people in the windows surrounding her, all recording on their cell phones. She calls out for help, saying she can't remember who she is, and we hear a camera sound. She sees a girl run around the corner, so she gives chase, but doesn't catch up. She continues crying out for help when a car pulls up, and the man who exits the vehicle is wearing a ski mask that has the same logo on it that was on the TV. He gets a gun out of the trunk and starts chasing the woman. No one is interested in helping her. They all line the streets to record. She gets to a gas station where a woman is filling her tank, and the man starts blasting. They get into the gas station and block the doors. I don't know, man. Dude has a gun, and gas stations are mostly glass windows. Seems like they're still fucked. A large crowd is watching from outside as they concoct a new plan until the man starts bashing the window in. The man enters the store, and one of the group hiding inside grabs his ankles and trips him as the two women get away. As they hide outside, they see the man who helped them escape has been shot, and the man with the gun stalks his prey, reloads his gun, and the mob of onlookers follow. Our main woman, Victoria, looks at the man in the mask and gets some more memory glitches of a man in a car and a little girl in the back seat. As the two women start to run off, an SUV pulls up where two masked people hop out, armed with weapons. One of them is an electric knife, like a turkey carver. That was funny. The women make a run for it and get to a house, and Victoria tells the other woman, whose name is apparently Jim, that she doesn't know what's going on. Jim says the signal just appeared everywhere, and it glitches on our screens, showing the goalpost logo from earlier. Victoria says she saw it, and Jim says it turned almost everyone into onlookers, but not them, and no one knows why. Jim tells her that they have to go south to White Bear, causing Victoria to wig out with a glitchy memory of her daughter. Victoria has had enough, and she heads outside to confront the two guys filming on their cell phones, completely ignoring Jim's shout out to our pod. Don't go out there. She throws a brick at the men, scaring them off, and grabs the cell phone of the man one of the men dropped. She wants to know what they're looking at, but Jim, equipped with a taser, tells her to put it down. Their phones are dangerous. Don't look at it. And that's the open.
And when you say started blasting, it reminded me of that Danny DeVito Always Sunny meme when he's like, anyways, I just started blasting. Anyway, Carl Tibbetts is back to direct this one. And I say back, but that's just because we did these out of order. This was really the first episode that he did, but he also did White Christmas, which we reviewed a few episodes ago. Don'tGoOutThere.com. Two pretty damn good episodes to have in your repertoire, if I do say so myself. And I don't know if I mentioned it during the White Christmas review, but he was actually nominated for White Christmas along with Brooker for Best Single Drama in the UK. But he's definitely part of why this one is so damn memorable. There are some great shots in this one. Hell, right off the bat, the shaky cam and then the use of the blur makes you feel like you're disoriented right there with Victoria, who, like I said, I'm open. Lenora Crislow, I don't even know which one it is. I'm going to say Crislow. Just golf clap. Because holy shit, she is so good in this. I've never seen her in anything else, and I don't know how, because someone give this girl some damn work. Dustin's writing the script, cast this girl when it gets big. But yeah, I mean, this doesn't work without her ability to act scared, angry, confused, her entire range of emotions with hardly even saying any dialogue through half this damn episode. I mean, it makes her performance one of the best in this series that we've seen, or that I've seen anyway. And when I say no dialogue, I mean, there's not a single word spoken till almost 4.5 minute mark when all she says is, hello. Sorry to our UK listeners. That accent was terrible. I know. But such a disturbing and confusing open. I mean, all we get to see and know is the same shit that Victoria does. I mean, girl being hunted, everyone clearly in harm's way. By the way, dude has a shotgun. Why the fuck are you so close to everyone? But that, again, that's before you know the twist as you watch this for the first time. That's what went through my head. And anyway, nothing in this open is as bad as Twopence Middleton's Jim trying to knock the door open with that fire extinguisher here. Holy shit. Can we give her a prop that's lighter? Maybe because she can swing it harder, because wow, she wouldn't have been able to get that door open if she'd stood there for 2 damn years swinging that thing. Might as well have had Shelley Duvall with a baseball bat trying to hit a home run in the World Series. I mean, it would have made as much sense. God
Well,
damn.
that would have worked if it was a Jose Canseco bat.
Tell me you did not pay money for this. Last thing, like you mentioned, got to shout it out too. Timestamp 1333. We get a don't go out there shout out by Jim. Those things are not as common as you would think when you're doing this review. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. I've got a little bit more, but I'm going to discuss it next scene by scene. Great open.
Yeah, there's not a lot of our show shout outs, but I notice it every time just because it hits me right in the feels. The opening glitches when the episode starts, it reminds me of Mike's old internet in video form, respectfully, of course. Victoria looks lost and confused as me every morning getting out of bed. Where am I? Who am I? I love it, like you mentioned, Brian. I love the camera work so far as well. It makes you feel lost right along with Victoria. I thought the camera work stood out to me immediately. It's creepy as can be seeing all these people in the windows recording or on the phones. I hadn't seen this episode upon my note taking, and the sense of isolation, confusion is very strong. I felt that with her. Now a masked figure appears pursuing her with a rifle, shotgun, whatever it was. I thought, this is scary as hell. What the hell is going on with this? Nitpick, but the guy with the rifle, shotgun, definitely has soft hands, brother. Those are some weak bashes against that window with the butt of the gun. Like, I was pretty disappointed with him. This episode released February 18th, 2013, and it's ahead of its time, in my opinion, in the aspect that it's showing people with cameras recording crimes, videoing victims, who I thought was a victim, instead of helping them. I'm getting the Purge and Your Next vibes now, seeing more costumed, masked-up attackers show up. One of them, which has a lamb mask on. I don't know if that was directly influenced, but I automatically thought of it. Good dialogue, exposition dumping going on, and I'm not mad. This is a very interesting story so far. Don't go out there shout out at the 13-ish minute mark. I'm glad y'all noticed that as well. I always appreciate that. I thought it was a damn fine opening set of scenes. I like this one a lot.
Of course I noticed it. I'm the mastermind behind our name. Anyway, so...
True that.
Victoria is a rebel and looks at the phone anyway, and we get more glitchy memories of her daughter and the man in the car. The trip down memory lane is cut short when the two armed people from earlier start chasing her. They're rescued by a man in a van who drives them away. Victoria says she knows the man, but just doesn't know how. Jim says they're heading south, but the man says hell no, and he has a safe spot, and Victoria already knows that it's in the woods. When they get there, they talk about their weaknesses, and when the ladies ask what the man's weakness is, he says he'll show them, but he pulls a gun on them like a trickster. He makes Victoria put the ski mask on backwards so that it covers her eyes, and he makes them march through the woods to his murder spot. We see a few people strung up in the trees, and then some people pop out from behind other trees with their cell phones recording. The man gets a call, and as he's distracted, Jim makes a run for it and gets away. He ties Victoria to a fallen tree and takes out a power drill, but before he can drill her, Jim is back and she's got the gun. She blasts the man in his chest and tells Victoria she came back for her bag. The two women make a run for the van and get the fuck out of Dodge. They're heading to White Bear, where they're going to destroy the transmitter. An onlooker, his camera flashes, giving Victoria a glitchy memory, and she says they can't go to White Bear. Something's not right. Jim blows her off and keeps on going. They break into the White Bear transmitter, but Victoria has a look of hesitation on her face, and a glitchy memory shows us a tattoo on the back of the man's neck that looks like the symbol. They get to a control room, and Jim starts flipping switches while Victoria notices the symbol everywhere. Jim douses the joint in gas, but before she can torch it, two armed psychopaths from earlier interrupt. Victoria grabs a shotgun, and when she shoots it, confetti bursts out instead, and she looks confused.
Okay, look, and this is just my opinion based on the only facts that I have. So please don't take this as me not giving writer Charlie Brooker credit or anything, because that's not it at all. I just think that this episode is so good and so detailed on accident. Now, hear me out. Brooker has stated himself that the original draft of the script was just a straightforward survival story. You know, it wasn't until he saw the filming locations, he said, that he came up with the twist, which I know we haven't gotten to the twist yet, but I think he added all of these little nuances and details throughout to try to spruce up his just straightforward, straight up survival story. And I think that's why we're so sympathetic towards Victoria through all these scenes, because it wasn't originally written for her to be the villain. Also, I think that's why the twist works so well. I mean, just being out of the blue. Again, just my opinion. Nobody's saying it's valid, but I think this episode was kind of a little happy accident. Shout out Bob Ross there. Anyway, back to the set of scenes. When Victoria asks old dude what his weaknesses are, and he says, "Would you like to see it?" Am I the only one that thought he was about to whip his dick out? Because I think I'm scared. I think I'm scared from seeing so many damn A24 movies here. That's my only explanation. Bo is Afraid did me in, no doubt about it.
Hey, yo.
I also think they do tension really well here when Victoria is unmasked and showing all of these girls crucified in the woods. That was a hell of a shot with the mask coming off as well as us being shown it at the same time that she was. Hell of a visual and use of the shaky cam, giving us that chaotic feeling. And, even as he starts the drill up and Lenora acts her ass off, screaming and crying as well, the sympathy they're building up on purpose or accidentally, I'll throw that out there, for Victoria is a lot as an audience member, which makes this twist hit even harder, in my opinion, next set of scenes. Also, shout out Jem for having bolt cutters, but yet swinging them to jolt open the lock and the White Bear transmitter door instead of, cutting it. I don't know. Big reveal coming soon.
No, I like it. I mean, the path of least or the most resistance. I've always appreciated someone who takes the path of most resistance.
Right.
I just want to give my man Brian a lot of props right now. The growth, the maturity. This man has said twist 5 times and not said twist his dick. Just incredible growth and maturity from Brian right here. All right, the intensity continues with the masked people pursuing them. Victoria did frustrate me a little bit, hesitating to get in the van, but it's not a huge problem considering her mental state. Well, plot twist, Baxter whips the gun out on them. I had a bad feeling about this lad, honestly. Shout out to the word lad. And, I reread my notes today. I was like, this is funny reading back on this in hindsight when you find out about Baxter. Complimenting the camera work again, I thought it was top-notch. Props to Zach Nicholson, the cinematographer. This is horrifying. Tied to a tree, and then a guy gets a drill out. I thought some hostile shit going on until Jim shows up saving the day with the rifle. When I was taking my notes, I really didn't understand these onlookers. Are their minds just fixated on recording violent scenarios? They won't even yell out to the hunters when someone's coming. Again, this is funny reading back on it in hindsight. Complimenting the editing and the flashbacks too. I love how they're like glitches in Victoria's mind. And then the dude with the confetti shotgun, I thought he was an idiot. And then I was like, what the fuck is this transition to a live audience? If you can't tell, I was really invested and I enjoyed everything I was seeing so far.
The wall behind Victoria opens up, revealing a studio audience going wild. They're clapping, hooting, and hollering, and Victoria is sat in a chair while the attackers and Jim take a bow. The man who wanted to drill her in the woods comes in and says it's time to tell her who she is. He shows her a picture of her fiance, and we hear that they're famous for abducting the girl we thought was her daughter. Her fiance died in custody, and we hear that the only clue was a white teddy bear, and the girl's body was found in the woods. There was footage of the torture on Victoria's phone, and her fiancé murdered the girl on camera, identifiable by his tattoo, the goalpost-like logo. The news report goes on to say Victoria says she was manipulated into doing these awful things, but the judge and jury didn't buy it. Victoria turns on the waterworks, and the crowd serenades her with booze. All I know is her crying was annoying as fuck and seemed like it was never going to end. Victoria is taken outside, where the man invites the crowd to record and yell at the woman as she's driven off in a Popemobile-like vehicle. The vehicle gets to its destination, and the woman is taken inside, where she pleads for the sweet relief of death. But the man says that's what she always says, and it's time to do it again. He puts a device on her head and turns on a video of the little girl. The device zaps Victoria's head, and the man leaves, and other guys stage the apartment the same way it was in our open. The main guy marks on another X on the calendar and walks out. We see a gate for White Bear Justice Park, and the group of the main guy, Jim, and the 2 armed people are on stage, telling a crowd their rules are no talking, keep your distance, and enjoy yourself. We also get a look at cars entering the gates. What a fucked up amusement park. The people are there to record the enactment, and Victoria wakes up to do it all over again, and the episode ends.
Holy shit, what a twist. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Most of all, what a damn performance from Lenora. I mean, just incredible. And wow. Okay, so just the concept of all of this is just so disturbing. I mean, this really shows just how cruel and indifferent humankind can be on both sides here. I mean, being a baby kidnapper and a murderer, and on the other side, this whole song and dance and really production of her entire prison sentence. And, if this was real, it would be like Disney World with the amount of people who would visit. I mean, it asks some deep questions too. I mean, just the whole question of, is it really rehabilitation or just torture when the prisoner doesn't even remember doing what they did? Again, this is just more relevant today in 2024 than even in 2013 from everyone filming on their phones. Like Nico mentioned, to something I saw just the other day, literally, that they're looking at a brain implant that can make you, i.e. a prisoner, feel like they served 10 years when in reality it's only been a few minutes. And if that's not some Black Mirror shit, I don't know what is. And again, I'm talking about 2024 versus when they made this more than a decade ago. I mean, that's some crazy shit, Brooker. I mean, crazy ending to just another fantastic episode, in my opinion.
I'm confused as a motherfucker right now, but I'm not mad. Let's see where this goes and see if this landing sticks. Then I was like, whoa, what a plot twist. I spent this whole episode on Victoria's side. What a revelation this is right now. Lenora Critchlow, huge props to her in this episode. Great acting as she's ridiculed, being taken away in this glass box. This for everyone to just hate on her. I loved it. And god damn, this is not great review talk, I guess, but this is wild as hell. Victoria has to relive this hunting scenario over and over. Personally, I just say kill murderers ASAP, but this is a hell of a way to make them suffer. I like this a lot. White Bear Justice Park, and they have guests, essentially like safari park attendees, just participating. Like, I love this. I think this is fantastic. This is a twisted concept and episode, and like I mentioned at the beginning, right up there with one of my favorites, if not my favorite so far.
Imagine if they did that in real life, because putting people on death row, that takes a toll on the taxpayers. Like, it costs a lot of money. Man, they do it this way, we're making money off of it. Hell yeah.
I tell them that they would be lined up. This place would be Disney World numbers.
You guys have any fun facts?
I've got two.
I've got two as well. You go ahead.
Charlie Brooker has stated that he had an idea for a sequel story where the memory wiping technology would actually start to malfunction, and Victoria would leave little clues for herself each day. And this episode has several parallels to the case of Moore's murders committed by Myra Henley and her boyfriend Ian Brady in the 1960s in Manchester, UK. Henley and Brady murdered 5 children. Audio and photographs of the crimes were presented at the trial. Henley, actually dubbed the most evil woman in Britain by the press, died in prison in 2002. She would claim later in life that she'd been acting under her boyfriend's control, much like the protagonist of this episode. And for more true crime, check out the Too Close to Home podcast.
And that's the two that I had. So, all right.
Sorry.
No, you're good, man. You guys want to do your ratings? I'll go ahead and go first. Look, for me, I don't know. The premise is crazy. I really like it. Imagine if that's how people serving life had to go through it. They die of insanity. Not a bad episode, but I don't know. Just for some reason, it didn't hit for me. I gave it a 6.5.
But would they die of insanity? Because if they kept wiping your memory every time, I mean, it'd probably just make your brain mush or something. But if they're reliving it and it's the first time every time.
Well, she started to remember there.
She did.
So I know he wrote that her shit was malfunctioning, whatever, and they're not going to do the sequel. But it seems like eventually these are turn into core memories, and she would remember, just fucking kill herself. But anyway,
I'll go next. I love this episode. One of my favorites. It's right up there with the Josh Hartnett, Aaron Paul episode, like I said earlier. I'm giving this episode a 9. The only the complaints I would have is I feel like eventually, there were just a few unanswered questions, just how many times are they doing this in a day? Because, they showed them crossing it off on the calendar. That's a lot of stress on the body. I feel like she's probably I feel like she would have died 10 days into this, not 20 days into it. But I thought it was great. And I'm going to say something a little controversial. I hope this doesn't come across wrong. I feel like this is one of the better episodes because it felt like an episode and not like a movie that wasn't fleshed out enough. I feel like they explained enough. A lot of the other ones were hour 16, and I feel like they could have been hour 36 and have been better, done a little more. I think they just did a great job with this episode.
Yeah, no doubt. In my opinion, again, the concept is just is so disturbing on so many levels, which kind of, I mean, it does more than kind of, it makes it great. And again, the biggest standout of this entire thing was the incredible performance from Lenora Crislow. It's just incredible. I gave it a 9.5.
Okay.
Camera work too.
So that gives us a composite score of 8.333333, however many is on the screen. And the Internet Movie Database has it as an 8.